Alright, this is my funny little toy accordion that I'm going to mess with in a quick and dirty way for whatever use that is, and sort of showing things to do with an accordion. I think that I've already messed with this some, but I think that hear how that valve is sort of making a little sort of. So this has little cheap paper valves in it, and they kind of rattle, and so I've changed some of them, but I'm going to change that one right now. So here's what we do. Take out the pins that hold it up, hold it together rather, just like a real accordion. Top comes off. There's your reed. There's your reed block. There, that's opening. And then air just goes into the bottom of this. The inside of these. It's exactly the same, so whichever way, whether the air goes in or the air goes out, it runs over the reed. So this reed here actually vibrates when the air is going past it inwards, and it's pulling in on that one, and the other one does the same thing when the air is coming back out this way. So when this one goes in, this little valvey thing, this little thing here, flaps up against that hole, and right behind that hole is where the other reed is. So when the air goes this way, nothing goes past that reed. That little flap sits against it so that nothing can go past, and it blocks up that reed and lets this reed here vibrate. Let's be here, as I recall. When I do that, that little hole right there is the one that's opening. It's this one right here that corresponds to that hole. So right there's my collection of leathers that can pretty quickly be changed in the following manner. That just goes away like that. And then I have all these scrapers that are used for oil painting, and they're like, I don't know, $3-4 each or something, and they're handy for all this kind of thing, because you need to scrape away the old glue, and then you want to have a can of air, because you get dust and everything, and getting rid of the dust is a big part of making things work. So then we take just a little glue, simple as that, and wipe away the excess, and put that in place. Oops, place like that. And there's our next reed. Not sure if that pull that old reed out and get up inside there in the same way and scrape out the glue. So there's the interior of that prepped, and you can see the light shining through where the valve is missing, whereas the other ones have their valves in. So place that in there. Okay, so there's my new reed, right there and right in there. So it still has some trashy reeds out here, but I've replaced most of these ones now. Too. It's probably going to end up doing all of these. Two slightly different notes there. So then we take our handy dandy iPhone. So there's our tuner. So we can see everything all at once. Normally, the way this goes is that everything's going to be a little bit flatter when it's back inside the accordion, and so every note is going to be just a little bit sharp. Ideally, sort of like that. And that one is right on, so we need to actually sharpen it up a little bit on the blow, on the inside reed. Reach inside there and push that reed up, like that. And I'm just going to catch it, oil to oil painting thingy dings. You could use something else as well. And then I'm going to take a little file, and just so you can see that. See what's happening there. There's the actual reed that I've pulled out, and there's filing a little bit off its tip. So it's still not quite right. In a general way, you shouldn't grab a reed with your fingers like that, because the salts in your finger oil will cause it to rust. But these are little shitty brass reeds. Okay, now I've actually gone a little bit too sharp, just because I'm not paying proper attention. And so then to fix that, I'm just going to put this file in behind the valve, the reed leather, and I'm just going to scratch the middle of that a little bit. And then I'm going to sharpen up the other one too, because I think it's also just, I think they were both a little bit off. So these things change so easily. So now I'm just going to flatten it up again a tiny bit. So that's close enough, except that it sounds kind of lousy too because of that little valve flapping around. So it starts off kind of slow and changes as it goes, because this is sort of sitting out, partly because I've bent it around adjusting it, but partly because it's just a piece of crap. So I'm going to change that one as well. Scrape away the old glue. And this one will probably be a little bit too long. Tiny bit. Let me take a bit of glue. Put it on there. Take away the excess, which we'd normally do with something other than our fingers, so we don't end up with glue all over the place, but I don't have anything here. So, is that visible? Yes. So we just put that there. And that's all there is to that. So, so there we have it. Tuning and changing the valves on an accordion. So with a big accordion, it's same thing. And let me see. Let me just quickly show all the tools that are handy. So you need a file with a point on it for scratching the reeds and filing their tips. You can see that with this, when I wanted to file the outside, I just brought that forward and filed the reed. When I wanted to do the inside one, I brought it right out through the reed plate and filed it, and then had to revoice it because I'd been bending it more. To flatten it, I just went in there and put some scratches. Okay, so then the other indispensable tools, or handy tools, you can blow into the reed block of an accordion through the bottom to get the notes to sound, but generally not a good idea too, I think, according to what people say. That your humid breath will get caught in there and perhaps rust the reeds, and it's also sort of a pain in the neck and difficult to do, and difficult to get a good sort of steady amount of air, and so some kind of artificial bellows. So this is just a concertina that was a cheap little broken concertina, so I just took the bellows out and made this little device with the little arm, so the little bottom arm is just to stop it from tipping, and then I don't need to lift the whole thing if I don't want to. Most of the time just rocking it like that is sufficient, so that's a cool and handy thing. And I think you could make a bellows out of probably fireplace bellows for about $30. There are all kinds of different possibilities. A lot of the trouble that you find is just dirt, and so you don't use Q-tips because the fuzz will come off the tip and you'll get cotton wisps caught in the reeds and all over the place. But cotton tip applicators like this will not do that, and so you can just dip that in some isopropyl alcohol and get in there and clean the reeds. You can pull the reed forward and actually clean the throat of the reed plate with it, and just get a lot of the dirt out. And then I'll often take the tip of that, crush it in a pair of pliers and make it very narrow, and that way you can slip it right into the mouth or the throat of the reed plate. And for holding glue, I just use a little tuberculin syringe. I find that a little easier than sort of dipping something in and pulling it out. You just keep kind of pushing, and so there's nothing fancy about that. Just a little tuberculin syringe, a bunch of little sort of tweezery forceps things kicking around, a pair of really good sharp scissors that you reserve just for cutting reed leathers. A bunch of little picks, handy little tools. There's these I mentioned. These bendy steel things. I've got them in various different shapes. This is what I'm using for glue. It's really nice glue. It dries very fast, it's very gummy, and very kind of simple to use and not messy, easy to wipe away. And so as you can see there, ernestdefner.com. Whoops, maybe ernestdefner.com is where that was. But I actually find that for many things, just a little soldering iron, and I use a little gas one. It's just convenient, and I don't need to sort of think about it and plug it in and unplug it. It warms up very fast, so I just use this little gas soldering iron, and with a pointy tip like that, and with that you can get into the wax and remelt it. If you take a reed out, because you have to really surface it in a major way, then you have to be able to melt the wax to get it to seal back in again properly, usually. Also, if there's just some cracked wax and you're just trying to make a temporary repair, you can re-seal the wax just by going around it with a soldering iron. It melts almost instantly, solidifies again almost instantly, and if you just remelt the wax, then it re-grabs the reed. Alright, and then I also keep a whole bunch of just blades and things around that kind of come in handy, and a bunch of other little files suitable for scratching and filing. And then keep this, which is just a little bendy tool, so that's what I reach in underneath to push the reeds up from the inside. Okay. Another handy thing to keep on hand is a set of automobile feeler gauges, the finest one of which is just a little small papery thing, and then if you end up getting a reed that's too far in to get hold of at the top, you can slip the feeler gauge in from behind and use that to help start getting it back out again. Basically, you can usually reach in way down here and sort of sneak up and down, even if the top is actually caught in the throat of the plate. Well, let's try this on another one here. Since I actually pulled the wrong one before, here's our shitty little thing. And if you don't get most of that old glue, at least, it's not so much to make the new glue seat better or anything, it's so that the valve doesn't have like a little rough spot there that it's sitting up above and has to flap down over. So putting these things on is extremely simple. You just put a little glue on. Not too much, just enough to make a nice smear. And stick it on. And then the inside, put a little glue on the sort of rougher side, wipe away the excess, ding ding. Place it inside here. I'm trying to hold it so the camera can see, which makes it a little more awkward, but and then I can use one of my little picks to manipulate it around until it's just where I want it to be there, and see that the top isn't banging on anything, but it's pretty close, and that the sides are clear, and Alright, and there we are back together again. So, here's our $25 pimped out accordion, in which I've changed all the little crappy valves, crappy reed leathers. They now are leathers, they were reed papers before, and kind of tuned it and voiced it a little bit.